And we're live. Hello, guys. You're watching the Devil Drives Lada podcast. We weren't here last week, and not everyone is here this week, as you can see, but at least two of us are. So, yeah. Well, I guess we'll get into intros. It'll be a lot more calm today and relaxing. Less chaos, for better or for worse. But
Yeah, I'm fully uncaffeinated today, so
yeah,
we're
I
good.
I am as well. I just got out of the Lord of the Rings, Return of the King. I'll tell you guys about
Oh
that
man,
because I actually
I'm
pulled a
jelly.
funny quote from that.
I'm
Um,
jelly.
yeah, well, I'll tell you all about that in a few minutes. So, but yeah, I'm your host. I'm Jamie. I'm a guy. I spent time in Ukraine. I'm in a combat role. I currently just have a normal everyday job, and have this podcast to share stories and teach and just spend time with the homies while it's alive. And that's about it.
Aloha. I'm uh I'm the guy with the really big forehead for some reason
You
today.
keep pulling the balaclava down.
Yeah, and it still keeps migrating up because I have
Are
whatever the
you
hell this is going on.
suggesting balaclavas migrate?
They could be carried. Um, but I'm just some dude who does a fake and gay desk job and sells camo, so I'm just here to hang out.
I would like to point out that is the balaclava you punctured a hole in quite a long time ago to
So that
drink
I
out
could
of
smoke
during, or
through it,
was it
yeah,
smoke?
and drink through it, yeah.
I remember that vividly.
Desperate times, and all that.
So yeah, we have a few small topics. It will not be a long episode today. So, for our viewers that have complained in the past how long our episodes are, you're in luck. And for the viewers that have also complained to me that our episodes are not long enough, I have exactly one person who has complained about
Yo,
that. I'm
that's
sorry.
silly.
Stop. Stop
What are you
spending so much
what are
time
you
watching this.
doing? What are you doing that you want our episodes to be like 3 hours long?
I had he knows who he is. He watches semi regularly. He was talking about how he has a long drive, and he was like, "Yeah, I watch them on long drives," and he's like, "But I'm done with the episode before my drive's over."
Bro, what are you crossing the European Union? What?
So yeah, we'll probably have a relatively short episode today. Oh, and he was able to join us.
Oh, just in time.
So we have a third person. Um, he can introduce himself when his mic gets, or when he finishes getting in.
I
Oh,
literally was talking. It
nothing
was
was
just in
happening.
time. I'm trying to get my cam set up.
Literally.
Well, while you're getting that set up, I will kind of go over my weekend real quick. So, during Christmas time, or no, so semi recently, in December, I have started collecting Blu-rays. Um, Basically because I like physical media or physical things, and Blu-rays are not compressed. They're very high quality surround sound, all that. And I asked my family, I was like, hey, if anyone comes across the Lord of the Rings director's cut or extended cut Blu-rays, please let me know and go ahead and pick them
Oh
up if they're
man.
at a good price. And my sister was like, oh, I have one of them. I was like, oh, sweet. But that's yours. Like, I would like my own, please. And she was like, well, you do know that they're coming to theaters soon, right? I was like, no, I didn't know that at all. And for Christmas, she bought me a gift card. And then we went to see the Lord of the Rings movies together. Extended editions,
Sick.
all of them in theaters, all three. So last weekend they did it with The Hobbit, which I enjoy the Hobbit movies. They're not the worst things, but they are not Lord of the Rings quality, in my opinion.
No. Yeah.
So I did skip those. I have watched them. I will go back and watch them again, but I do not care to pay, $50 or whatever
Right.
to go see them in the theaters. And what, 10 hours of my time at least. No, more than that. More than that. But this weekend on Friday night, I watched Fellowship of the Ring for a whole like 3.5 hours in the theater, and then followed by Two Towers, 3.5 hour,
Twin
whatever,
Towers.
in the theater, and then today I proceeded to watch Return of the King, which is the title of this episode
Yes, go ahead.
for reasons that we'll get into a bit later. Thanks, Daddy Donald. I thought it was fitting, but yeah, and it was I think 4 hours and like 15 minutes. So I spent a majority of my weekend watching Lord of the Rings in theaters. Highly recommend. It was very cool. I got my little popcorn bucket and cup, and
I think this is an absolute win.
yeah, I love it. And I do actually have a quote I want to share. Oh, hi Zach. I'll let you introduce yourself in 2 seconds. Let me finish this. I had
Oh,
a
good.
quote
I
I
think
wanted
this
to
is-
share with you guys. So as we've talked about, I spent time in Ukraine. We've talked about PTSD in the past on this podcast. Some of what kind of scratch into things I deal with, what other people deal with. We talked about 3 weeks ago or so, 4 weeks ago, about how like different different conflicts have their own PTSD that go along with it. I talked about how like global war on terrorism, a lot of those guys, they deal with like large crowds or don't deal well with large crowds because something that they struggled with was never knowing who was armed, who wasn't, who was the enemy because they all looked the same. Meanwhile, guys in Ukraine are struggling with hearing a drone fly over. They come back home and a drone flies over, just doing photography in the park, and they hit the ground, things like that. But there's this quote towards the end of Return of the King, so the third Lord of the Rings movie, where spoilers. I hope you've watched these movies. But
Is it even spoilers at this
yeah,
point?
well, I at the beginning because it's like it was a 25-year anniversary thing. Peter Jackson came and not came to the theater, but recorded like this prelude to the movies and like explained, and he was like spoiler alerts, and he would kind of go into a little bit, and it was kind of that. But anyway, spoiler. Frodo is finishing his book that Bilbo started in the first movie, and Frodo is finishing it and adding on his story to the end. And he's reading it at the end of the movie after he gets back home from basically, as the movie says, 13 months to the day at war, essentially. And it says, how do you pick up the threads of an old life? How do you go on when in your heart you begin to understand there's no going back? There are some things that time cannot mend, some hurts that go too deep that have taken hold. I just wanted to read that. I thought it was really cool that no matter how you don't want it to, war changes you, and the world goes on, the world changes, but you always have the memories of like those times where, we've talked about how Robert E. Lee also had a quote about like talking about how he's thankful that war is so horrible, or men would fall in love with it. But you just always hold those memories close to you, and it's never normal life again as much as you want it to be. But yeah. Little takeaway I was pondering on the drive home today after watching. Would you like to introduce yourself, Mr. Anarchist?
I just got flagged. That's it. Like, I got a week to live at this point. Like it was like 7 days, but like the feds call you, they're like 7 days. To
Hey,
the
I
no-
didn't say you
Yeah.
were antiseptic. I just called you an anarchist.
Antiseptic.
that didn't have to be said either. That was just the thing. Like, anyway. So my name is Zach. I'm a neighborhood friendly autist. I argue with strangers on the internet about dumb shit that actually doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things.
That's true.
Um,
I've seen your Instagram comments.
It's an issue. It really is. Like I just get bored and then I just go on. I see someone do something stupid or say something, and I'm like, I owe it to myself to at least, get this out.
He's like
Like,
on that fucking show, My Strange Addiction, and it's just
I
about
can't help
like
it.
trolling people on the internet.
Yeah, sometimes it's ridiculous. Like it'll be like someone saying like, what was it? Someone said like, out of like a 20-inch barrel, 9mm has the same velocity as like 5.56, and like literally, I was gonna cave my fucking skull in, dude. Like,
um,
ah,
and sometimes you just can't help it. You gotta. The Fox News Instagram is the worst. And what's crazy is
oh, I know.
I just don't
Sometimes you'll
even
send like
read
comments, and I can't
anymore.
comment on it because I have to follow them, and I'm like, I'm
Yeah.
not doing that to myself. I just refuse to follow Fox News, and then continually
Yeah.
get upset at my like at things that don't matter.
I follow Fox News for the meme news, and that's about it. But I don't even go to their comment section anymore because it's so like blatantly just bots. Like so many
Bots
of
are
it is
just
bots.
stupid people, dude, and you don't know
It's
which
the
one
same
it is
thing.
anymore.
Yeah, it's the same thing. Um. So yeah, we have a few topics, like I said earlier today. Um. We already kind of got the Lord of the Rings out of the way. That was a cool experience. I highly recommend you do it, except you can't anymore because it was just for this weekend. So, next time it's available, go see Lord
Spoiler
of the
alert,
Rings in
it's
theater.
On the
already
next
over.
major anniversary, I
Yeah.
guess. Yeah.
Same thing with Star Wars. Star Wars does the same thing. I watched episode. Let's see. A few years ago, we watched episode 1 and then episode 2 in theaters, if I remember that correctly. I've seen some of the Star Wars in theaters also recently, but
Nothing will ever beat the cartoon Clone Wars that played on Cartoon Network.
dude, the Clone Wars, fantastic.
Yeah, that
Yes.
original one. I mean, the other one that follows is really good too because they did everything they wanted to that they didn't like about the trilogy.
Yeah.
Episode 1, 2, and 3. Everything that like was like holes in that plot, they were like, we can do more with this, and that's why that one's so good too.
And not to stray off topic, this is not one of our topics, but for today. But Kathleen Kennedy is gone. If everyone wants to, get excited for that, that's
Oh yeah,
amazing.
it's like John Filoni or something like that now, right?
Dave Filoni. No, Jon Favreau is in charge
The Marvel
with
guy.
Dave Filoni behind him.
Gotcha.
So
Because they originally came together when it came to Mandalorian coming out, and the lore
Yes.
on that was actually pretty solidified. So I
Yes.
was like, oh, well, at least they know what they're talking about, and it's not like over the top for no reason.
So we will see. Hopefully, Star Wars can get back on track. Since the only like good thing Kathleen Kennedy ever did was Rogue One and Andor, which from my understanding she didn't even have any involvement in to begin with, other than giving it a green light. So
Yeah, I was gonna say Rogue One could have been better too, but allegedly the original
how
like,
could Rogue
plot
One have been
synopsis?
better?
The original plot synopsis and everything else was supposed to contain more imagery of war to show how brutal it is.
Oh, okay, I'm fine with that.
But they were like, "This is too warlike," so they had to roll
Too
it
real.
back. And I
Too
was like,
real. Stop.
Yeah, I was like, that would have been awesome because I really liked Rogue
for
One.
Rogue One or for Andor?
For Rogue One, originally it was
Okay.
supposed to show much more conflict than just like the ambush and everything that takes place.
Right.
But
Just
they
the
were
one-
like
their one
the
guerrilla
early
action,
screenings.
yeah.
The early screenings, people thought it was too warlike, so they rolled it back a bit. But I kind of liked that attribute because too often we find ourselves like fantasizing about it, but then like to have the in between the lines of like the realness that still comes with a fantasy conflict between what would be a local populace and an
Yeah.
imperial, entity. It would have been cool, and
I
I
think-
really would have given it more respect. That's not to say Rogue One's still that good, because I think it's one of the better ones.
I think Rogue One and Andor did a great job with that, which is fitting, because
Yeah,
well, spoiler alert, Andor is the prequel to Rogue One. But
yeah, and I think that might have been what they have realized that a lot of people still would have liked the realistic attributes, and that's probably why they went the way that they did with season 1 and 2 of Andor.
Andor season 2 is one of the best pieces of media of the last 10 years.
Yes.
I don't. If not,
I
more.
haven't seen all through it, so I probably need to get back into watching stuff. I just barely have free time. I really need to be reading my books. I have so many books I have not read, and I need to with theology and stuff. And I'm like, oh, this is really cool. I like to have this. I don't touch it, and I do that with TV shows too.
Real.
So yeah, Kathleen Kennedy gone. We can celebrate with that. And then I have two more kind of quick, small. Well, one very small, quick topic. When you said books, it reminded me. This is a good time to segue into it. New things got leaked on the War Thunder forums.
Hey, 0
Oh,
days.
that's still happening.
And it wasn't
Or
just
like what, two days now, maybe?
Yeah, and it wasn't. Yeah, it was like 2 days ago, and it wasn't just an article. It wasn't just a page of a manual. It wasn't just a chapter or segment of the manual. It was the entire manual for the F-22 that was dated, I believe, 2024.
Damn.
Yeah, April. I think it was the April 2024
Update
edition.
of the F-22 Raptor. So, that's wild. We have talked in the past about the War Thunder forums, and if you ever need any information on classified documents, just go there, and it still proves to be true, no matter how much the feds don't want it to be.
It's like a self-fulfilling prophecy, or like a
yeah.
feedback loop
Yeah.
at this point.
Yeah,
I
what
feel
is
like at this
that
point
thing?
they're like, "Oh no, guys, don't leak stuff," and then they do it, and
Yeah.
they're like, "Oh man, who would have thought?" Like it keeps the PR going for them, so they're probably like, "Oh, don't do it."
Yeah.
Oh yeah, War Thunder loves it. They eat that thing. They eat that up, dude.
They probably have a line item for their budget for like damage control for these incidents at this point.
It's just already built into the yearly budget.
Right. Like they're assuming a certain amount of money will be spent on legal fees and
And it's probably perfectly like soluble because of how many microtransactions are in the game. Like they're we
yeah.
make this back in like 3 months' time. It's fine.
And the funny thing is, so traditionally, for those of you that don't play War Thunder, it's a tech tree combat vehicle game. And the funny thing is, typically the vehicles that get documents leaked are like, hey, the Abrams is better than Russia's T-72 because of this leaks document.
It's
And it's
like
like,
going full
well,
circle to arguing about dumb
yes.
shit on the internet with strangers. It's like that is the root cause on why people are like, this is actually happening. They're like, no, it's not. You're doing copium. Actually, here's the manual that specifies otherwise.
literally what
Fuck you.
But the funny part is the F-22 is not even incorporated into War Thunder yet. They were just apparently arguing about it already because they're talking about now adding 5th gen fighters in the future to War Thunder, which
Amazing.
had previously said would not happen. So now that they
to win an
voted-
argument about something that's not even in the game.
Yes.
I think that's
Yep.
that's a new achievement. I
Yep.
don't think that's been done
Flex.
before.
So there's that. I was wondering if like the US would put tariffs on Gaijin to keep them from ever releasing modern vehicles, so modern vehicle specs can't get leaked. But it's too late for that now because they're not even in the game yet, and things are getting leaked.
apparently. Apparently, it won't matter.
I'm releasing new tariffs on Gaijin Industries. Palantir told me that they're a bunch of pussies.
The Palantir CEO.
JD Vance's butt buddy, Peter Thiel, specifically said,
Peter Dial.
The man who green.
Gotta love that
aka the Antichrist.
So
He loves his Antichrist.
yep, that's there's your weekly War Thunder form news. Which this now segues into our next topic. Manuals and things. So hold please.
Jamie's actually about to whip out the terms and conditions.
Well, actually, I didn't break the law because
Well, actually.
if I can figure out how to get my backpack open. So, oh, my pants are like partially unzipped. What's up? I
Did you say that
a-
earlier?
Oh yeah, I did say that before the podcast, and then I never zipped them up. So I have a 2 terabyte SSD here, portable SSD. Samsung. It's waterproof. It's durable. It's rugged. Has like a nice rubber coating on it. And I have. It is now over. It's almost 1 terabyte of just information and data. So
Yes, information and data. I'm glad you got into it because as you're leading up to this, as we were just talking about elites who are like accused of being some of the most heinous people on the It's just like, yes, I have over 1 terabyte of information on this. It's waterproof. It's uncrackable. Like, get on with it, Jamie, because there's 2 letters that come
Yep.
after this typically when you associate Peter Thiel in them. So like, it better be fucking.
So for the past, I kind of touched on earlier about, collecting Blu-rays and physical media now. So when I was in Ukraine, something we would do is download basically as much as possible because, well, internet was few and far between, and not possible at some points for, a week at a time, really. And, so whether it was movies, music, I had my Spotify library downloaded. I would download, well, movies. We just talked about that. Maps were very important. Everything from like FM Army manuals I had, and this isn't just me. This is our entire unit would have their own stash of stuff. Some guys kept on flash drives, whatever.
Yeah.
But like Army manuals to go over, something as simple as the Ranger Handbook, things like that. But what you kind of take for granted is the internet. Like we have perpetual access to, hey, how do I do this really simple task? Where's this place that I'm trying to get to? And so over the past few months, I've been kind of working on rebuilding my kind of offline database. And it is not finished yet, but this is, where I'm at on it. I have everything from the entirety of Wikipedia with images. I had, well, English Wikipedia, which is also on a flash drive separately. It's less than 128 gigs, so you can actually fit it on a 128 gig flash drive as of 2025. I have a bunch of different LLMs, which are large language models, aka chat GPTs, except run locally, which we've talked about before, how AI is super cool and can serve a really awesome purpose. However, it's flawed in many ways, and one of the biggest ways is data collection and your privacy, as well as environmental concerns. While this does not exactly solve environmental concerns, it is at least run locally where it is your own private data. Like, none of your stuff is getting shared, none of it's getting collected. It's all done on your computer. So I have various LLMs, everything from medical LLMs, which are trained specifically on medical data, to reasoning, to math, to coding and developer stuff, all these different things. Very cool. I kind of sent it through some different medical scenarios with the guys we were talking about. And while it's not perfect, it's logical, and makes relative sense. As far as the medical one, it didn't hallucinate, and it's not incredibly fast. Obviously, the more powerful your computer is, the better it is. But, I wouldn't ask it, hey, I'm bleeding out right now, what do I do? But for like long-term off-the-grid stuff, for, lack of internet, it'll give you all kinds of advice, including image recognition. So, hey, what rash, like I have a rash on my arm. Here's a photo. What does this look like to you? And what are the treatment options? What are some, or some of the things I was talking about were, hey, this scenario happened. There is no possibility whatsoever of a professional medical, attention. Like, it is me with what I have on me. What do I do? Please walk me through step by step. Super cool. It handled all of that. That's something we take for granted. It's just, hey Siri, what does this look like to you? Well, actually Siri, as I found out, sucks, from my understanding. And that is why Google is now partnering with Apple, and Google Gemini's AI is now Siri, or vice versa. Siri is now Google Gemini. But yeah, LLMs. I fix it. So for those of you not familiar, I think we've talked about them on the podcast before. I know Ian and Zach have both used them before. iFixit is basically this huge database of like online electronic repair instructions. Like, I have an iPhone 17 Pro, how do I replace the battery? And it's a step by step, like with pictures and everything of how to do that. Um, Due to iFixit being open source and information, they have published their entire and keep updated their entire repair database. So like I have the entirety of iFixit downloaded, which is incredible. Um, we take that for granted of having to being able to watch a YouTube video on how to replace a battery when if you don't have the internet you can't. A bunch of this stuff is just open source and available. There's collections of repair manuals for cars, repair manuals for electronics, for radios. So much of this even have schematics available for like more intensive repairs, which is not a field repair that you're going to do out in the field, but as a lot of us know who had Verizon last week, Verizon just dropped off the face of the planet for a whole day. I literally was talking to people. They're like, well, I don't know how I'm going to get here and here and here. Ma'am, it's in your own city. Like, that's like a 15-minute drive and you live here. And you don't either have your head knowledge to get there, nor offline maps. Like, do you not have a I understand not all cars have GPSs in them and, maps. I'm thankful mine does, and I keep it updated. But, like, I also have my local area and my entire state downloaded on an offline map. So, like, anything goes wrong, with internet, it's fine. I can still just type in an address or a business, and it takes me straight to it. Obviously not with traffic data, because offline, but, things like that. I have maps on the SSD, books, everything from the Anarchist Cookbook to something as simple as the Ranger Handbook, as well as basically every like weapon repair manual, which also is very cool for my 3D printing homies back there. Basically, like every weapon has a schematic book, especially like a military weapon, like for example like an M16 or an AR-15. Like you can just go get either digitized like CAD files for the entire like blow up diagram of an AR-15, or if you want literally a paper copy, you can go get the paper blueprint copy, or like a PDF of the actual Army manual or the armorer's manual for that. So like terrible situation happens and you're off the grid, you could literally cast a lot of these parts yourself. You need solar power for your 3D printer, you need filament or whatever you use, and then you just cast it yourself. And like things like that are possible, and people don't necessarily think through that.
Do you know why people have a hard time though not using GPS?
Why is that?
Yeah, not being able to use GPS. So scientifically speaking, the reason why is because every time that we utilize a gadget or whatever to complete a thought for us, such as AI or the GPS, we pretty much allocate that to such an easement that our brain completely negates the memorization of it.
And that is
completely skips it.
I have fully felt that myself over the years. And if there is somewhere that I am trying to go to that I kind of know the way to, I will try to intentionally drive there without the aid of GPS. If
Pre-planning on the map is
like,
a good way to do that.
Yeah. And there's a difference between, I guess, using a GPS where turn left in 500 feet and you're like, okay, and you're mindlessly just turning left in 500 feet. There's like the memes in the movies. It's like, turn left now, and he just like snatches the wheel, and it's like, why did you do that? The road, there is no road.
She
it's
told
like,
me
it said
to.
Turn left now. It's like, well, no. So yeah, if it's somewhere that I'm semi-familiar with, I will try to make it myself, specifically so I can remember to do it again. It's crazy to see my dad's military. We moved around a lot, and when we moved back to the area I grew up in, my parents hadn't been there and lived there in years at that point, and it was crazy to see them still remember like a map in their head of exactly where everything was. They could go from one to the city of the other through every back road, every way possible, just without a GPS. And to me, that was crazy. And to me, that's still crazy because I typically will just GPS stuff. Of course, as we've talked about, I have GPS or the maps offline, but if you want the GPS for that, it still requires satellites to be working. So, which I think will stay up for the foreseeable future. But having offline, you still need to at least know basic map reading, even if you have offline maps, because you can't necessarily rely on GPS.
Yeah.
But and there's times in war where you might not even want GPS. So, all that to say,
Yes. Offline data is always going to be the better flex, and the only way that people will detect you otherwise would be your frequencies. But if you can manage offline systems to utilize your maps, that's always the better option.
Yes. So, maps important, knowing how to read them, just as important as actually having them.
Yep.
You cannot rely
Nothing
on
will
GPS.
beat a paper map and a compass in terms of
Yes.
reliability.
Well, the nice thing, though, with the digital maps, though, is there's apps with all of that stuff built in. So even without
Yes.
using GPS, your phone still knows what direction north is, for example, and will give you relatively accurate. So, but the also benefit of having them on your phone digitized is not only do I have topo maps, I have sat maps, I have hybrid maps, I have all these, not just different kinds of maps, but the tools to use them. I can easily measure
you have
distance
topography.
between 2 points. I can, plot a route with the distances and, paces on them. I can add layers. I can add businesses, take things away. Like, having all that digitized is amazing. Now, you should still have paper maps, but to get the level of detail required for, an advanced combat exercise, for example, or, actual combat, you're typically going to want, a high detailed topo map. But also satellite
and
imagery
especially the
comes in
fact that
handy.
you can utilize offline systems still with
Yes.
team and usage, so you can still communicate with people if you're not using radios. And if it's on an offline system, it's extremely harder to detect. So
Yes. But paper maps are great. You should still have them. You should still have a protractor and a compass and know how to, land nav. However, you realistically can't carry a bunch of paper maps for your entire, city or state. If you live in a big city, if you want that level of detail that's typically required for, advanced combat stuff, at least for topographic maps, you're probably going to have multiples just for your city, if not, dozens for your whole state. So it's very important to have that stuff saved digitally. Like I said, tons of I have tons of vehicle repair manuals on here, entire courses. So TED, the guys behind TED Talks and the other TED things, they have videos on how to do farming and agriculture and stuff like that. I downloaded all of those. Downloaded medical documents, crash courses through doctor residency. They literally have entire books and stuff that are all open, open or public use. I guess it's public use that you can just download and have.
Public domain.
Public domain. Thank you. So many things like that are just open and available to you. You can download and have for free without even pirating. Of course, take that as you may. We're live on YouTube, so. But even not being a filthy pirate, all this stuff is just openly available to you.
Yarr!
Yeah. It's just incredible. I would love to do actually a YouTube video on this later. That would be fantastic to basically, once I get this finished, break down what I have, how you can do it, and why it's important. Kind of dive deeper into that. Hold on, I'm using my very good USB cable. Hold on. Let me see if there's anything I really kind of missed on here that I wanted to touch on. Bear with me 1 second, guys. If y'all want to chat about something else or kind of dive deeper into that yourself, let me do some reading here real quick.
I mean, just from a not even from a tactical or like a paramilitary perspective, you should be working on offline media just for your own financial well-being. I mean,
Yep.
the state of streaming services at this point is just it's practically criminal. Like,
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and it's very obvious in the gaming sphere too, where like you have Ubisoft directly saying that our customers better get used to not owning anything.
Yeah. But you don't own anything anymore. It's all fake and gay. As
You will
We have
own
to-
nothing and you will be happy.
Okay, I got a quick few things. And yeah, like Ian said, this is for everybody. This isn't just like everyone should have some kind of the word bug out bag gets kind of stupefied. But everyone should have some kind of go bag with just basic essentials in it. And not even for, when North Korea invades US and it's Red Dawn, but just like when a tornado comes, when you get iced into the house, for a week from, bad weather.
yeah, dude.
When the power goes out for a few days, like everyone should have some basic supplies to meet basic human needs. Some food, some water, a knife, a flashlight, extra batteries. Just like basic things. And you can dive down that rabbit hole indefinitely. There's preppers with entire underground bunkers and stuff with, armories built out for 50 people. You can take it as far as you could ever want. But, find what works best for you and what your needs and your family's needs are and prepare for that.
Yep.
In whether, that's a government downfall or, just an icy week where you can't get to the grocery store.
Yeah, I would definitely say the mundane is much more likely and much easier to prepare for than the fantastical.
Yeah.
Yes. And now, mind you, that's not to say that you cannot, at the end of it, prepare for whatever you need to. But it's also a really good way to, kind of remind yourself that you are not immortal. You are a mortal. And you can do everything right and still lose.
Yes. Yeah. Give yourself an edge here.
No matter what.
If you were one of the people that was panicking during the Verizon outage last week, and I mean not just kind of concerned about your family members, but panicking about stuff, then this is for you. Like, this is something that you should lock into and actually pay attention and do. Here's a quick couple things. Wikipedia, like I said, the entirety of English Wikipedia. Whether it's farming to Donald Trump to human reproduction to dog species, you name it. It's Wikipedia. If you can look it up, it's there. And despite what your teachers told you about Wikipedia not being a primary source, it's a great source if it's the only source you have. Software, basic software stuff. Apps you need on your phone. Stuff you need for your computer. Stuff like Wireshark, WinRAR, Notepad++. Just basic things like that. Whether you're a tech guy or not, like, there's always going to be, no matter who you are, when you set up a new computer and you sit down at it, there's either software that you need or your preferred software. Store it offline. You might not always just be able to boot up Chrome and download it real quick. And if it's stuff you need to do a job, whether it's 3D modeling, like if you're 3D printing and you need your software because your computer died, whatever. Operating systems, have an extra copy of Windows. Have an extra copy of your favorite Linux distribution. Have, we'll get into this in a few minutes, a Raspberry Pi OS, like Raspbian or something. Just, things happen. I was talking to 2 people within the past month, like 2 good friends that were like, "Hi, man, sorry, I've been super busy. My OS just decided to corrupt. Like, I had to back up all of my stuff from the hard drive, like as an external drive onto another computer, and reformat my entire drive because Windows Repair couldn't fix it." Like, things happen. They didn't do anything wrong. They, for both instances, it was, oh yeah, I was playing games and working from home. I turned my computer off, booted up the next day, and it wouldn't turn on. And Windows had
Sick.
an unfixable issue both times. So keep a copy of Windows. Things happen.
Tell me again why Windows is the industry standard.
It shouldn't be. Having daily driven a Steam
really-
Deck now
It
for
really shouldn't be
what,
for
3
anything.
months now. I absolutely love Linux. It has flaws and issues, and it does require work, like a lot of work to make certain things work on it. But I've yet to find anything that won't work. Movies and shows. I have. This is not my whole collection. But I just have some base. Oh, here's Andor. Actually, Andor season 1. I have right here. Just your favorite movies and shows, things to pass time. When I was in Ukraine, that was one of our favorite things to sit and do. Was when we were off rotation, just to watch some movies together, hang out, whatever. It passes time. You can learn things, and not even just like your favorite movies. Maybe some educational movies and shows. And I'm not saying like download the entirety of Magic School Bus, but
Or do.
yeah. But something that you might be able to learn from, or something like that. Maps. I have offline maps. Once again, there are websites you can go to. We'll go into more detail, like I said, in a YouTube video one day. And if you have questions, reach out to us. I'll be more than happy to give more details, but I don't want to take up all day on this. But like I said, maps for my state, maps for my less detailed maps for my whole region, and even less detailed maps than that for the whole U.S., as well as a few countries that I often visit. I have offline maps for those, including Ukraine. Like I said, there are apps out there. Osmond would be my go-to recommendation, just for like a Google Maps alternative. You can actively download everything from sat maps to topo maps, overlay them on top of each other, including like 3D building models and everything else on top of that. So things like that. You can dive pretty deep into that with turn-by-turn directions, I might add. LLMs, we already talked about that. Download.
Please learn to read a topographical map.
Yeah, like I said.
Please.
Paper maps, you need to learn how to use them. Normal maps, you need to learn how to use them. Just watch some YouTube videos. There's an entire army field manual for it too. Very useful. LLMs, like I said, medical math. We take for granted looking up math problems and being able to know how to put them in our calculator. If you have no other resource to do complex math, you might need to talk to an LLM. High school was a long time ago for me, and I didn't learn crazy stuff. Or at least I don't remember learning it. So there we go. Games. Your favorite emulator games. A Game Boy Color ROM takes up like less than a megabyte for dozens.
That's crazy.
Like dozens of hours of entertainment. A Game Boy Color ROM takes up less than a megabyte. You can literally download like your favorite old school Pokemon games and have all of them on like world's smallest flash drive from 15 years ago. Like
I was about to say, so for those who maybe don't offhand know how small a megabyte is, you could theoretically fit every game ever made onto like a first generation iPod.
Yeah. Like here, let me see. ISO emulators, GBC. Oh, excuse me. Pokemon Gold is 2 megabytes. My apologies. 2 megabytes for Pokemon
Okay,
Gold.
so again, every
Pokemon Blue
every
is
Game
1
Boy
megabyte.
game ever made could easily fit onto your ancient iPod Touch that you have sitting in your bedside table drawer that you
Yes.
haven't used in 6 years.
Like it's so easy, dude. You could literally fit infinite amount of entertainment on a flash drive. Like every Game Boy game, every Game Boy Color, Game Boy Advance, PlayStation 1 games are obviously a bit bigger, but like those handhelds from back in the day, those games are tiny. And I put hundreds of hours on those as a kid. And remember, portable games were already made to be portable. We would literally sit there in Ukraine in the trench when we weren't on watch and just sit and play some Pokemon together, or, you know, whatever. They were made to play for a few minutes and put back in your pocket, and that is exactly what you can use them as, to pass the time when things like that are going bad, or, you know, whatever. They have the things to play them, emulators on computer, on iOS, on Android, you name it. Like, you can play most of these games on like an iPod Touch or an old Android device from 15 years ago that is $15. In fact, I learned recently, y'all actually, I didn't tell this to you guys, you can go to Walmart and get a prepaid Motorola Moto G phone for $35.
Yeah.
$35, like no
printers are the way
commitment,
to
no
go?
contract. Like, you just walk out of the store with an Android phone for $35.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Like, it's a camera. It takes video. It takes pictures. It'll store it'll store most of this on it. Like, you can get that, put a micro SD card on it, and basically store all this on that. Including
For
all your
$35.
games and everything. For $35. Moving on. These are kind of unorganized, but I have file repository. It is everything from 3D files, like like actual CAD files for guns, for screws, for like washers, nuts and bolts. Like, all of that is 3D printable. Organizers, medical stuff, mag pouch inserts. Like I said, it's not even all gun related. It's so many of it's like around the house stuff that, you know, you would run to the hardware store for, you know, whatever. As well as actual guns themselves. Plot twist, you can 3D print guns. Like, I think people probably know that by now, but, you know, that's a thing that anyone with a 3D printer at home can actually just do. Super cool. Try it out. And then lastly, books
This
and
is legal
manuals.
advice.
Yeah. Like, it's legal too. It's federally legal. You can just go home with your 3D printer and start printing guns. They're not
Always
great
has
guns,
been.
but they're guns. And tools. Like, we kind of take for granted being able to go to Lowe's or Home Depot or Ace Hardware to buy some tools or nuts and bolts or something. Like, so much of that stuff you can just 3D print. Is it efficient? No. Is it gonna break after a couple uses? Probably. Does it work when you need it and have nothing else? Yes. Let's see. Books and PDFs. I have chemistry books, history books, encyclopedias. Kind of redundant to Wikipedia, but still nonetheless. Weapons books, like combat, like manuals, field manuals and stuff for ARs, M16s, M60s. A lot of that I'm never gonna actually have my hands on, but basically all of the manuals on that stuff. I mentioned earlier, like Ranger Handbook. You name it, dude. It's basically here. Gunsmithing books, more medical books. Anarchist Cookbook, very underrated book, or overrated depending on how you look at it. Dictionaries. That might seem really stupid, but if you don't have access to the internet for an extended period of time, a dictionary might actually be nice. History books. Dude, there's so much stuff. The Gutenberg. So, you know, the Gutenberg library. It has publicly downloadable like domain or public domain segments of stuff. Whether it's on law, like, you know, for lawyer things, on law, whether it's history, encyclopedias, different eras of history, different topics. Like, you can just go and download segments of that. That's all public domain stuff, which is really cool. Like I said, TED stuff. I have these are just the ones I've already gotten. Still have many more. Agriculture, farming, health care, hearing, medical research, medicine, mental health, public health. Those are the TED ones I currently have. There's others. 3, modeling software stuff. S2 Underground, for those of you not in the kind of civilian intelligence community. They have an entire open public domain. This thing's huge. It's 4.5 gigs of communication stuff. Everything from radios to encryption to smoke signals to you name it. It's 4.5 gigs of information, files, documents, and software on communication and intelligence gathering. Pretty cool. Like, there's just a food prep. I have one on canning. I have no idea how to can. I can learn how to can with this. Knots. And then also, lastly, we already talked about iFixit. Disaster relief. Where is it? Or disaster urban prepper. Ready.gov. So the government has a website dedicated to preparing for disasters and your evacuation routes. What to do and what not to do in certain ways. How to get in, like, standardized procedures on all of this stuff, including communication and search and rescue, things like that. You can just download that. So
even if you're not using those things for your own planning,
yeah,
they'll give you good insight into the local and regional government's response to different scenarios that is very pertinent information for you.
Yes. It will have your cities and states' evacuation routes for tornadoes, for hurricanes, flood. I believe it even has like flood zones like around the country. Like everything, is there. It's kind of a one-stop basic manual for how to, how to words, whatever. I don't know where I was going with that, but yeah. Here's another one, which Eda and I are both very passionate about. Solar and off-grid electrical systems. Everything from, this was a really cool one. I've been wanting to actually dive in and start reading this. I have 2 entire, one of them is like this huge, like 200 and something gig, public domain, like blog about, building off the grid solutions for, electricity and civilization. A lot of it is like solar, water wheels, all this different stuff, and what all is needed and involved in that. Super cool. So, yeah. And like I said, this isn't for everyone, but some of this is for everyone. You might not need to know how to build a civilization, but you should at least know how to survive basic stuff, or at least have the means to read about it. And, yeah. And one last thing on the topic. This is a Raspberry Pi. This is a slightly older one. This is a 3B+. I got this probably about 5 years ago. They are still available for about $30. It's a super cool, I won't take it apart, but it's a small computer. Has HDMI, has a USB-C port, USB, Ethernet, excuse me. This, or a phone, or, excuse me again, a laptop, anything can have all this information on it. So I would highly encourage you to go buy one of these and set it up, a Raspberry Pi, or go to Walmart and buy the $35 Android phone, set it up, put it in your backpack, keep it charged with all this information on it. Or in my case, I have it spread out in a few different ways. I have a solid state drive with all this. I have a at-home server that a lot of this information is currently getting organized and sorted on for team access. So it'll all be available for us, essentially. And then I do have a lot of this on an extra phone, which is actually recording this footage right now, that stays in my plate carrier. It's in like a life-proof, super durable case, sitting on the front of my plate carrier. Like, always ready. There have been many instances where, in fact, this happened in Ukraine a lot. I don't know if we've ever talked about this. The amount of times we were out in the field and somebody's phone got hit by shrapnel, or they fell and broke their phone in half, or it got wet and ruined it because the screen was cracked and it basically just flooded the phone, and guys couldn't get into their bank accounts, didn't have people's phone numbers saved, like couldn't communicate with their family because like stuff wasn't backed up or like redundant anyway, is insane. Like, we had guys lose basically everything they had, all their pictures, videos, family contacts. One guy was not able to access his email account, saying that he was out of his country's military. And he had
That's rough.
Yeah, like it was kind of, he basically got out of his country's military to go join the Ukrainian military, and he had a arrest warrant out for him because his documents got mixed up, and he could not get into his email to prove that he'd received the documents, or they had received the documents, they were signed and everything, to give to them. It was wild because his phone broke and couldn't access that stuff. So like, have an extra phone. If you're an iPhone person, you go get an Android phone for $35 and have all this stuff just redundantly stored somewhere.
Oh yeah, or you can buy refurbed like old. I wouldn't say old, but like it doesn't have to be a simple one, but it can be like an old S20. Those are still in high use in the military itself. You can find refurbed ones from like your corner store for, if not 35, it'd be like $50.
Yeah, like you just go have an extra phone. Have your family's emergency contact information backed up. Just keep all that stuff there for you. Emergencies look like an emergency can look like anything. It can look like a car accident, like we talked about earlier. It can look like a government collapse. It can look like Verizon going down for the day, or just something as simple as bad weather and you can't leave your house, and you drop your phone in the toilet and you can't go to get another one and tell your family you're safe. Like, just, you can do so much of this for just a few hours of your time, and for just a few hours.
10 cents a day.
Yeah, for just 10 cents a day, you too cannot be helpless during an emergency. Just think about that stuff, guys. It hits all. I hope that things like this help people think. I saw multiple people that I know personally that were like, wow, this Verizon outage really made me rethink about how I communicate with my family and stuff. It's like, yeah, it probably should. You should probably have like secondary ways of getting in touch with people. Actually know how to get home, or at least offline maps to help you. Like, think through this stuff. Don't be stranded and be a burden on someone else in an emergency. Have these skills and knowledge so you can help someone else in an emergency. It's just really simple, basic stuff that I promise everyone watching this can afford and has a few minutes over the next couple weeks to get ready for, or to prepare for. So, I'm done with that. That was one of my big segments for today I want to talk about. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk on having copies of a physical copy, a local copy of your information and the world's information. Sorry. I really only have one more topic. And it is one I have not dove in deeply into the past few days because I have been watching Lord of the Rings for 3 days straight. But Minneapolis is heating up and continuing to do so. Trump has threatened the Insurrection Act. Our daddy Elon has encouraged it. Kanye is seemingly supporting ICE.
No.
Oh wait, Kanye's still making opinions?
Sadly,
No.
Yes. Did y'all see that? Oh wait, it was you that sent it to us, Ian.
Yeah,
Yep.
that was AI, dude.
Oh, was it? Oh, okay, never mind.
Yeah.
I was bamboozled.
It was a joke, yeah.
Well, it
Somebody
wouldn't
somebody
surprise
made
me either
AI
way.
content of Kanye posing with ICE agents.
It doesn't even surprise me if he did do it.
Right. That's I think why it was so funny, because it took a minute to be like, oh no, that's fake.
As far as the shooting goes, I guess we have not done a podcast episode since it happened. You can say, oh, this is gonna be like, not to sound like a big nerd, but whether Han or Greedo shot first. It's like, do you all get that reference? Han shot first.
Yeah, I
Yes.
do, but that comes down to like what edition you saw though.
Okay, but my point is like the shooting that kicked all this off is essentially that so many people are like, oh, she rammed him, so he shot, and it's like, well, you know, he shouldn't have ever had his gun drawn to begin with because she was turning away. Like, we can see her wheels turned. I don't care which way you argue it. I have my opinion, and my best takeaway from this is he shouldn't have been there to begin with. So, it wouldn't have happened if he wasn't there. I've seen a lot of stuff saying, well, if she just wasn't there, it wouldn't have happened. Well, yeah, if he just wasn't there, it wouldn't have happened. So, there we go. It's a wild world we live in. We'll see how it plays out. Tons of actual peaceful protesters are getting beaten and ragged, pepper sprayed. A federal judge had to specifically tell ICE that they're they're not allowed to use pepper spray on, I believe his words were peaceful protests.
Oh boy.
It's like, don't quote me on that. You go and read. But if like the judge is having to say, "Hey, don't hurt civilians,"
Maybe stop pepper spraying the people who aren't doing anything to you.
And like, yeah, there's some pretty not peaceful protests going on. I mean, I would be upset too if that was happening in my city. That's all I'll say to that. Like, if people are getting drug off the street and kidnapped by federal agents that are there for immigration and you're a U.S. citizen and it's happening to you, I'd be pretty upset too.
I'm not going to say I agree, because this is a recorded forum on the internet, but all I'm going to say is I get it.
Dude, I saw two specific videos. One was where ICE kicked in the door and trashed the ladies. Or no, they searched. They had a search warrant. They kicked down this like lady's front door, literally ransacked. Like, she has a video of her going into her house where like every single dresser drawer is just upside down. Like, desk drawers are ripped out, things are knocked over, things are broken, destroyed. They went to the wrong address.
Dude, it'd be like that with SWAT teams. Legitimately.
Yeah.
That's what it was. They literally they breached her door, ransacked her house, and then after they left, they realized they had the wrong address.
Did they apologize?
I have no idea. It's an open
I doubt they
kind
ever
of
do.
lawsuit at the moment. And then there's the other one of like them. I believe she's a nurse, like standing on like there's a video of her like standing on her front porch where they're like actively trying to breach her house, like they're like going door to door, knocking on doors, looking for immigrants, and clearly like so many civil rights violations are being.
You are hiding
done.
immigrants under the floorboards, are you not?
Ooh, spicy.
Yeah, and I don't understand why people are like, "Oh yeah, I'm totally cool with this." I'm like, "And what if it was the
get some water,
ATF? Well, the ATF can kick rocks." I'm like, "What's the difference?"
Yeah, literally.
They're feds, dude. They're feds. Like, you have just started the open doorway. That doesn't matter if they're the ATF now. It could be the fucking FBI.
If it looks
be,
like a fed and acts like a fed.
It could be the fucking FDA at this point, dude. Like,
The FDA.
dude, they'll be like, "Do you have the Twinkies under the floorboards?"
Got a
You'll be like,
license
no, I
for
promise.
that full-powered laser, boy.
Do you have the Red 40 under the floorboards?
Robert Kennedy said that we're no longer doing war on protein and meat. Is that tofu I smell?
You're hiding meatless alternative proteins under your floorboards, aren't you?
Yeah, all I can say
Some
is there's
bitches
a whole lot of conservatives that are thrilled ICE is going door to door arresting people. Where
Well, because
if,
you always know it's the people that think they could be violent in a violent encounter, but they would actually probably get absolutely fucking bodied. That
Yeah.
always root for it. Commies included.
like so many, I have seen so many people that are not bots, like we talked about earlier, being like, "This is what I voted for. He's doing exactly what I hoped. You know, he's fulfilling his promises. I'm so glad he's doing that." Meanwhile, if it were like Republicans getting arrested for their guns, it would allegedly be World War III, and you know that's the final thing to set him off. But yet, because it's people that they don't agree with politically, they're all for it. So
Oh yeah, and the fact
the
that they're
tread on
giving
everyone
them
but
the
me meme just continues to
Yep.
Tyranny for me, but not for thee.
yeah. Tread on them. Meanwhile, the Epstein files are still not released. The DOJ is actively committing felonies every single second for not releasing those. Thomas Massey continues to remind us of that. But
Still 0 co-conspirators
yep.
arrested.
My favorite
as well.
was Pam Bondi's tweet that Thomas Massey retweeted. It was like, no one's above the law. And that was literally like 2 weeks ago. He's
Except
like,
for
okay.
all the people on this list.
Well, he was like, so does that not apply to the DOJ that is currently, you know, breaking federal law by not releasing all the files that, you know, had to be released by a certain date? I have personally know several Republicans that when the Epstein files have come up recently, their answers were they already released them all. We have bigger things to deal with, like the Democrats in Minneapolis now. It's like, so...
Yeah, what?
Yep.
They already released them
Copium,
all?
copium, copium, copium,
So-
copium, copium.
Yeah.
Famous
the world's
deadlines,
messed
nope,
up, friends.
copium.
And it's only going to get worse. And my throat is really hurting right now. Now. Don't mind me just drinking
Right
from
now,
my
now.
gallon of purified water from Target.
W. Hydrate.
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 Yeah, that's really all I got. If anyone else has anything to add. Today was a Jamie rambling episode.
That's okay. You need those every once in a while. That's our version of a schizocast, I guess. I feel like we had a couple guests back to back, right? And then we had a few current events episodes. I feel like it's been a while since we had just a random bullshit session.
Yep. This was a good teaching with some current events sprinkled in. Like I said, I would really like to kind of dive deeper into a YouTube video, or dive deeper into offline file storage with a YouTube video at some point on just what works for us. There also, if you have more money than time, you know, that's fine. Like, there's not a problem with that if you have no time, but you know, what is the like graph of the money and time graph where it's like where you have time, you don't have money, and vice versa, whatever. If you have more money than
it's
time,
out of 3, pick 2 or something.
you can purchase a lot of this stuff like turnkey in server form. So there are a few companies out there that basically make like a Raspberry Pi and a Pelican case with a screen and like Wi-Fi antennas and Bluetooth antennas, blah blah blah, and you basically keep it charged or plug it into a power bank and it just works with a lot of this information already on it. Including things like ATAC for, you know, there's different companies for different exact solutions that you're looking for, or you can combine them yourself. There's different companies for this stuff. Maybe that's something we'll look into doing in the future, potentially. But But yeah, there are companies you can just give them money and they give you turnkey finished product that you just press the power button on, with a lot of the stuff on there, and of course room for you to add your own. So, your own stuff that you found or collected. So that's available. And like I said already, if you have no money and just some time, you can do a lot of this on your phone that you already have, or your computer or laptop, your Raspberry Pi, any device you already have is essentially compatible.
Yeah, to be
with
clear,
this.
that's what we're suggesting first and foremost is use what you have.
Yeah. None of the software. Well, that's not entirely. Most of the software and documents I have are not paid for. And even if they are paid for, if you don't have a problem with putting on your tricorn hat, obtaining yourself.
Milady.
So, to each
I do
their
say,
own.
sure.
But most of the stuff is just public domain that you, with just a little bit of time, can find online. And that's available to you. So, and some of these downloads, by the way, are quite big. Like, Wikipedia is almost 120 gigs. So, it might take you hours or days to download. So, don't wait last minute to download the stuff. Like, don't think you just have time and it's like, oh, well, when I see the storm coming, I'll download this stuff, or, whatever. Like, just have it. Like, Wikipedia, and you don't even have to necessarily update it every month. Like, yeah, a lot of the stuff gets updated, like, once a month. Dude, the Wikipedia from 2 years ago is just as relevant today as it was 2 years ago. Like, it really isn't that big of a deal. So, yep. That's really all I got. Get prepared. It doesn't require a lot of time or a lot of money. And this is all stuff you can do yourself.
Indubitably.
I do say, sir, the hostile takeover has rampant Hellcats.
And also, this kind of all ties in together with, like, training. Like, you can have your armor, your body armor. You can have even night vision and a weapon and 10,000 rounds of ammo. If you have no idea how to actually do any of this, then you're really just useless at this point. Like,
train your mind.
Yeah. You can have the world's best bug out bag that you just paid someone to build for you, and if you don't know what you have, why you have it, and how to use it, or you just bought the best Gucci gun and kit online that you could find, and you have no idea how to use it.
Really, I was gonna say. I mean, which if you can, like, that's cool, guys. Like, a 20-inch Geisley fucking SPR build's the baller.
Yeah,
but you got to be able to use it effectively. You got to be able to swing that shit around if your team needs you to.
Yeah, I don't care if you have quad nods. If you don't know how to use them, you're useless anyway.
Quad nods are overhyped.
That is true. That's why I kind of use them as the
example.
As that example.
They're heavier.
They're expensive and overhyped, and in many cases, less useful than just having good dual tubes. So, get out there, train. If you can't afford bullets right now, read, dry fire, watch videos, learn, study things. That was something really cool about the LLMs I looked into. Some of the LLMs I had, I was asking it questions about Pearl Harbor. I was like, hey, tell me about Pearl Harbor. And it was like, oh, December 7th, 1941. Da-da-da-da-da-da. I was like, okay,
for me.
So it went into a little bit more detail, and I was like, okay, tell me about the weapons. Tell me about the vehicles used, the planes. Tell me about the tactics used. And then it proceeds to give me, like, a military strategist view on the entire operation and how they attacked, why they attacked in certain ways, blah, blah, blah. It was really cool. Study that stuff. Study past military strategies. Study combat books. I mention all the time because it's a great just kind of one stop for a lot of the stuff. Basic information on a lot of different stuff, like the Ranger Handbook. Like, study all that stuff. Get caught up. Learn things. Get out, train. Take classes. If you can't afford to take classes, then train. But take classes on
Go make
stuff
money.
from reputable people.
Spend 18 hours at the ball crushing factory. Do it just for the love of the game.
Be a man.
Yeah, there's lots of reputable companies and people you can take classes from. Tim Kennedy is not one of them.
Tim Kennedy is a weird one.
Weird. That doesn't that doesn't track. Oh, did y'all see all the memes of was it U.S. troops in there were U.S. troops in like northern Africa this week, like Spec Ops guys. Dang. I don't remember what country they were in, but in like every single one, someone had photoshopped Tim Kennedy's face on it. And they were like, he's back. He's so back. So.
He's so back.
I am, my schizo rant is completely over. I have said everything I would like to say.
Yeah, I got nothing else.
We should have an episode next week. What's next week? Yeah, we should have one next week. In a few weeks, we might have a couple special episodes for you guys.
A special episode.
Special episodes. They may or may not be live. For OPSEC purposes, I cannot reveal much information, but we might have some cool guest
Well, yeah,
speakers
this is
coming
new to
up.
me. You gotta tell me what this is fucking about.
Yeah,
No,
I'm completely in the
didn't
dark
get a
here
game.
also.
What? I mean, both of y'all know sort of this. I'll fill y'all in.
No, the fuck
We
we know, so
might, but
clearly
you-
after
you-
this.
You gotta remember that we're retarded.
That's,
So, like,
that's true. That's true. I am as well.
I'm not just dumb. I'm gay.
I
and
might be retarded
buddy.
enough to where I actually didn't tell you guys, and I thought I told you. So, there's that.
that is also entirely possible. And
This
not
is-
only
this is a
possible,
consistent
it's
problem.
plausible.
Yeah, if it's not Jamie forgetting stuff, it's us.
Yeah. Equally as plausible. So, all right, guys. Dad, do you have dad advice for us this week?
Oh, dad advice.
um,
You are our dad.
Try not to be a dad unless you want to.
Yeah. Zach.
yeah. No, most definitely. So, yeah, in terms of our orthodox viewpoint, is that family planning is like huge. Like, if you're gonna do it to have a kid, and it's like the best excuse ever because you're like, well, I can have multiple kids then, and you might be poor, but truth be told, you won't be poor in the soul. There is no greater living than giving your life to someone that you love.
That was spoken very fantastically. I was actually talking to
Wholesome.
you, or talking about you to someone today, my significant other, and I told her how many, I had kind of tied it into Stranger Things, how many little nuggets you wanted. How many kids?
Yeah.
And she was like, what?
Yeah. Sean said the same thing. We were like 5 minimum, and like he was like,
That's
"What?"
crazy.
Yeah,
She
dude.
was
I'm
like,
not even kidding.
what? And I was like, yeah. And she was like, when? Where?
Oh yeah, it was funny.
So-
But no, that's what we want to do. Like, not that we're Mormon, we're Orthodox. So I mean, it's like the big thing to it. Like so how they pretty much put it is that we are the church militant, and if there's a culture war happening, you have to be able to put people out into the culture war. You have to raise the next generation. And this is seen throughout history of different people, whether good or bad. They're like, we need to be able to anticipate the next generation to be of this caliber. If not, in 3 generations, any ideal that you thought you had is gone. It's wiped clean.
Yep.
True.
So if you want to raise like little anarchists, like we also do, like it has to start with an army. So like lead by example. If it's a culture war, you got to lead by example. And if you're genuine and honest about it, like people will see. And if you live that life, like no one's going to call you a hypocrite for it. And
That's fair.
you're not going to have a total opposition to it. They're going to be like, oh, understandable. Have a nice day.
And to be clear, if our kids don't turn out exactly like us, that's just fine. No one
Oh,
here
yeah,
is
like,
gonna
I-
hate our kids if they decide to be flaming liberals or Republicans. We're gonna love our kid and know that they're wrong, but we're still gonna love them.
Oh yeah, like I'll pick fun like I would like a blue collar like apprentice, but like I'm not going to beat my kids up because they turn out different than me. If anything, I'll still encourage them to just do better for themselves. That's all I want of my kids, to be happy with what they're doing.
I hope my kids
If they
don't
can
turn
live
out
a genuine
exactly.
life and they can go to their grave knowing that they did what they could and they tried their best, like that's all you can really ask in this life.
Got to show your kids the same love Jesus shows us.
I was trying not to take it in that direction, but yeah, like you got to
I
make
got
sure
you.
like the Lord is great.
I just hope our kids don't turn out exactly like me. That would be horrible.
I think it'll be all right.
How
Your
would I be
significant
my
other's a
own
pretty
parent? I don't
pretty
know.
great gal.
All right, guys. Thanks for coming to our short but ranty episode. We will potentially have a YouTube video coming in the next, I would like to say, few weeks, but I know that's just not a reasonable timeline. So hopefully we'll have a YouTube video out. We'll be working on about offline data storage, and maybe start a whole YouTube series. That would actually be kind of cool. And then we should have an episode this time next Sunday. And we'll catch you guys then. Bye, everyone. Have a great week, and we'll see you next time.
Bye. Have a beautiful time.